Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. A rock stirring a giant wave. After Han Huzi uttered these words, the stadium, which had turned into an uproar because of the birth of the Tier 9 mysterious pill, became completely silent. The expressions of all the elders from the Yao clan turned gloomy at that instant. A cold glow flashed within their eyes. Each of the 8 ancient clans had one part of the Qiu Shi ancient god jade respectively. All of the clans treated it as a great treasure and kept it safe. Even an ordinary elder would not be able to see it. This matter might not appear unusual in the eyes of those who were unaware of it, but those who did looked at Han Huzi as though they were watching a lunatic. How would it be possible for the Yao clan to loan such a treasure to him? Could it be that this person had gone crazy? This fellow. Xiao Yan knitted his brow tightly as he looked at Han Huzi. The strange smile on the latter's face caused him to feel that something was not quite right. Uttering such words to the Yao clan was undoubtedly challenging the prestige of the Yao clan. Given this fellow's Tier 6 Do Shin class strength, it was impossible for him to escape from the hands of Yao Dan. Something is not quite right. Xiao Yang's many years of experience had also allowed him to become extremely sensitive. He felt that something was not quite right. This Han Huzi was not a fool. He should understand just what kind of treatment he would receive from the Yao clan by uttering such words. Yet, he was unafraid. Xiao Yang's heart involuntarily sunk slightly after he thought of this. His body moved and he appeared beside Yao Lao. His expression was grave as he softly said, "Be careful." Yao Lao also nodded gravely. He could sense that this Han Huzi was a little strange. Elder Wanhua's expression was dark and solemn as he stood in the sky. His eyes were filled with murderous intent as he looked at Han Huzi. Once Yao Dan gave the order, he would immediately attack with all his strength and kill this person, who dared to challenge the prestige of the Yao clan in front of so many people. Han Huzi, do you know what you are saying? Yao Dan looked at Han Huzi in the sky from his leader's seat without any expression. However, there was a sharp chill flashing over his eyes. His voice did not contain any emotions, as it was slowly emitted from within his mouth. Ha ha, clan head Yao Dan, the Qiu Shi ancient god jade is something that brings disaster. It will only bring a calamity to you if it remains in the Yao clan. Handing it to me in exchange for your safety might be a little better, right? Han Huzi laughed. It was as though he did not feel the murderous intent surging within Yao Dan's eyes. Han Huzi, you are acting too fearlessly. Today, I will first capture you and get the clan head of your Han clan to come and bring you back. The expressions of Elder Wanhua turned completely gloomy as Han Huzi's words sounded. A furious cry sounded. Vast and mighty Do Qi suddenly swept out in all directions. His body flashed and he appeared above Han Huzi's head. A large flame wind gathered into a huge palm, as it ruthlessly smashed towards the latter. It is almost time. Han Huzi merely smiled faintly in the face of the ferocious attack from Elder Wanhua. He lifted his head and looked at the distant sky before muttering to himself. Immediately, a strange grin appeared on the corner of his mouth. The black flame deep within his eyes surged out wildly like a furious dragon, which had been suppressed for a long time. After the black flame surged, Han Huzi's aura also soared suddenly. Bang! Han Huzi waved his sleeve as he stood in the sky. That ordinary palm collided with the enormous wind flame palm. After which, everyone was shocked to find that the wind flame palm was completely devoured into Han Huzi's upon contact. On the other hand, that Elder Wanhua, who had a shocking aura, seemed to have suffered from a serious blow. A mouthful of fresh blood was spat out and his body flew backwards. Finally, it landed miserably onto the stadium below, smashing and forming a huge deep pit in the process. Ha ha! I have accompanied all of you to play for such a long time. Just treat this as some interest. Han Huzi's long hair fluttered in the absence of any wind as he stood in the sky. Both of his eyes had already been completely covered by a black flame, giving him an exceptionally strange appearance. His faint voice resounded over the entire stadium as this occurred. 7-star Do Xing. Everyone's expression had changed drastically at this moment. They looked at Han Huzi in the sky with disbelief. The aura that the latter had emitted earlier had far surpassed Elder Wanhua. This fellow has actually been hiding his strength. Don't tell me that he really intends to snatch the ancient jade of the Yao clan. Yao Lao softly said. His expression changed as he watched this scene. Xiao Yan's expression had become extremely grave at this moment. Both of his eyes stared intently at Han Huzi. Since the very beginning, he actually failed to discover that this person was hiding his strength. Even in his fury from having the embryonic pill being snatched away, he was actually able to suppress his strength. This fellow is really scheming. However, could it be that he really wished to snatch the ancient jade from the Yao clan with just his strength? Yao Dan's expression had finally turned completely dark and cold as he stood on the leader's seat. He slowly stood up and stared intently at Han Huzi. He spoke in a dense voice, "Send the signal. Inform the Yang clan and the Lei clan. Tell them, we have found the perpetrator responsible for the disappearance of the Ling and Shi clan." Everyone had a change in expression after Yao Dan's words sounded. Even Xiao Yang's body trembled suddenly. They lifted their heads and looked at Han Huzi in a shocked manner. It was really done by the Han clan. Understood. Although those Yao clan's elders trembled after being frightened by Yao Dan's words, they still quickly took out a scroll and swiftly opened it. A spatial fluctuation quickly spread. However, the spatial fluctuation was about to agglomerate into a spatial tunnel when it seemed to have to disturbed by something. Immediately, it shook intensely. The tunnel, which had just been formed, disappeared in an instant. Many people in the Yao clan felt their hearts turn cold upon seeing this scene. Some of the elders were quick to react and hurriedly let out the emergency siren within the clan. Immediately, a commotion broke out in the neighboring mountain range had. Densely packed Yao clan's warriors hurriedly broke through the air and arrived like a swarm of locusts. Han Huzi, what have you done? An elder of the Yao clan cried out in a stern voice. It looks it is completed. Han Huzi smiled slightly while standing in the sky. He did not even give those Yao clan's warriors, who had hurried over, another glance as he spoke casually, nothing. I have merely locked the Yao clan's realm. A commotion was stirred below after these words sounded. Those various experts, who had come to observe the medicinal ceremony, had a drastic change in expression. They took out their spatial scroll and quickly tore it apart. However, the result was exactly the same as what had happened earlier. Something big is about to happen. Xiao Yang inhaled a deep breath of cool air. His expression had become unprecedentedly ugly. He did not expect that the Han clan's target would actually be the Yao clan. Moreover, no one had expected that they would come when the Yao clan was holding the medicinal ceremony. Yao Dan's expression was gloomy. His finger pressed on a storage ring and directly shattered it into dust. The ring could specially transfer the fluctuation to the Yang clans and the Lei clan's heads. Only the 3 clan heads could possess it. Ha ha, clan head Yao Dan, there is no need to waste your effort, Han Huzi laughed. Yao Dan ignored his words. His eyes stared at his finger and indeed saw that the fluctuation, which had appeared at that spot, had begun to randomly roam around like a headless housefly. Clearly, it could not be transmitted out of this place. Yao Dan's heart had completely sunk upon seeing this. Han Huzi, my Yao clan and the Yang clan has already built a spatial tunnel. If they discover that the tunnel has vanished, they will definitely know that something has happened to my Yao clan. The Jiu clan will definitely not sit back idly and watch when news spread. If our 4 clans were to join hands, your Han clan will definitely be destroyed. Yao Dan's heart might have sunk, but he was after all the head of a clan. He immediately recovered his calmness and spoke in a deep voice. My Han clan is able to eliminate the Ling and Shi clan without the Jiu clan detecting anything. Naturally, we can also let your Yao clan quietly vaporize from this world, Han Huzi spoke in a faint voice. With just you. Xiao Dan's body slowly rose into the sky. The frightening aura of a 7-star Doshing erupted without being held back. That powerful pressure was actually even stronger than that Hun Huzi. This strength was indeed worthy of the head of a clan. Elder Hun Huzi, this is a matter between your Hun clan and Yao clan. It has nothing to do with us. I hope that you will show mercy and allow us to leave. We will definitely repay you in the future. Those many chiefs and elders from the various sects, who had come to observe the medicinal ceremony, hurriedly cried out respectfully when Xiao Dan rose to the sky. At this moment, they had also felt some panic. The previous example of how the Shi and Ling clans were completely wiped off allowed them to understand that they would definitely die if they were to be dragged into this matter. Ha ha, that is only naturally. Those who are not from the Yao clan can leave. I will not stop you, Hun Huzi smiled warmly and said after hearing this. Thank you, Elder. Many people from the various sects rejoiced upon seeing this. They did not dare to utter any unnecessary words, as they turned around and rushed towards the entry to the Yao realm with all their strength. Xiao Yan looked at the backs of these people and frowned slightly. Having dealt with the Hun clan many times before, Xiao Yan naturally understood just how ruthless these people were. It was clearly impossible for them to allow anyone to leave. Ha ha. This thought had only just flashed across Xiao Yang's heart, when countless of black light flashed over the distant horizon. Miserable cries immediately sounded. Howl howl. Everyone was shocked to see an endless black flame seeping out from the emptiness while the black light flashed in the distance. Finally, it spread in all directions and covered this entire place. Everything became dark almost instantly. This is the genuine nihility devouring flame. Xiao Yang looked at the black flame seeping out from within the emptiness. His eyes suddenly shrunk. Little Yi had also opened its eyes within his body. That tender little face was unusually grave. Clearly, even it had sensed an intense danger. Han Huzi was suspended in the sky. There was a monstrous black flame behind him. He smilingly lowered his head and looked at Yao Dan. Both of his arms were slowly widened. The smile on his face became increasingly strange. Yao Dan, I am honored to announce to you that the Yao clan is finished. The black flame blotted out the sun. This entire place was enveloped by it. Under the cover of this black flame, everyone below suddenly felt the Do Qi within their bodies beginning to gradually disappear. It was as though there was something invisible continuously devouring the Do Qi within their bodies. This discovery immediately caused countless of people to become terrified. From the fate of those who had attempted to flee earlier, it was clear that the Hun clan did not intend to leave behind any survivors. Hence, this entire mountain range had become chaotic at this moment. No one could have expected that an ordinary medicinal ceremony would actually end up turning into this. Be careful, the entire place is filled with extremely tiny nihility devouring flame. Even Do Qi cannot block this thing. Xiao Yang's hand landed on Yao Lao's shoulder. Pink flame covered the both of them. The fire lotus deep within his eyes rotated. Based on his eyesight, this place was currently filled with tiny black light spots, which could not be detected with the naked eyes. These light spots would land on one's body like maggots in one's bones. After which, they would continue to devour the Do Qi within one's body. In the face of this kind of devourment, it would be completely useless for these people to use Do Qi to cover their bodies. Those black light spots would quietly merge into the Do Qi defense the moment they made contact with it. The realm has been sealed. It looks like the Hun clan does not intend to leave anyone alive. Yao Lao spoke with a grave face. Are these people finally planning on acting, after being quiet for such a long time? Xiao Yang frowned tightly. It seemed that they had terrible luck. They had actually walked directly into the hands of the Hun clan. However, they did not have any choice. Even if they could guess that the Hun clan would attack the Yao clan, they would not be able to guess that the Hun clan would strike at this moment, when it was most impossible for them to act. Looks like the low profile the Hun clan has kept during this period of time is related to this matter. They had also been unusually quiet when the Shi clan had vanished the last time. Yao Lao was a little vexed as he said. He had actually failed to consider this. Originally, he thought that after the Yao clan, Yang clan and Lei clan formed an alliance, their lineup would cause the Han clan to carefully consider their actions before they act. Unexpectedly, they had still failed to block the schemes of the Han clan despite this. No wonder the Han clan did not dispatch any experts, despite seeing the Sky Mansion alliance destroy the Han clan. It is likely that despite being cautious of the Jiyu clan, they were also preparing to attack the Yao clan. Xiao Yan also nodded. Now that this had happened, he had also gained answers to some of the doubts that he had before. It was not that the Han clan did not wish to kill him. Instead, it was because the latter had more important things to do. Between the matter of killing Xiao Yan and dealing with the Yao clan, the Han clan would naturally choose the latter. In their eyes, Xiao Yan might be strong, but he was still far from able to reach the level of the Yao clan. What should we do now? Yao Lao asked in a deep voice. If this situation today was not handled properly, the both of them would end up meeting a mishap. From the way the Han clan was able to quietly eliminate the Ling and Shi clan, the former's strength should have far exceeded their expectations. All we can do is wait quietly and observe the situation. If the Han clan really intends to attack, the Yao clan will definitely retaliate. At that time, we will take the opportunity to find a way to escape, Xiao Yang replied in a deep voice. He did not have some grand thought of rescuing the Yao clan. This was because they were currently unable to even take care of themselves. Where would they get the mood to bother about the Yao clan? Whether the Yao clan could overcome this great calamity would depend on their fate. Yao Lao also nodded quietly. Although he was also a member of the Yao clan, his feelings for them was far too thin. He might feel a little terrible that the Yao clan had met with such a disaster, but he would not demand that Xiao Yang rescue them because of it. In his heart, Xiao Yang's position was far more important this foreign and cold clan. Yao Lao floated in the sky. He looked at the monstrous black flame in the sky that spread to the horizon. His expression was also extremely gloomy. He could sense an extremely terrifying aura from within. All members of the Yao clan, listen up. Activate the heaven-transforming Yao formation. Yao Dan inhaled a deep breath of air. A decisive stern cry resounded. This time around, he could sense a danger that he had never detected before. Such a danger allowed him to understand that the survival of the Yao clan would be determined today. The hearts of all the members of the Yao clan trembled after Yao Dan's stern cry sounded. The heaven-transforming Yao formation was the Yao clan's guardian formation. This was the first time it was activated since the ancient times. From this, one could tell just what kind of great danger had befallen the Yao clan. Buzz buzz. All the elders from the Yao clan rapidly shot out numerous light pillars that shot into this mountain range at this moment. Immediately, the mountain shook. Many huge light pillars broke out from the mountain. Finally they entwined with each other and formed a huge strange formation. All the precious medicinal ingredients on this moment withered the moment this formation was formed. Endless energy erupted and poured into that large formation. Swish swish swish. At this moment, almost everyone from the Yao clan and gathered the Do Chi within their bodies into a light pillar, which shot into the huge formation from all directions. The light formation brightened and a terrifying pressure similar to that of a walking huge dragon that was in a slumber for thousands of years was emitted. The entire Yao realm trembled intensely as this pressure was released. Vast and mighty energy continued to gather in the direction of the formation. What a terrifying pressure! By being within the large formation, even Xiao Yang's expression had become grave as he looked at the bright glaring huge light formation. This kind of pressure could likely be comparable with an 8-star elite Do Xing. The foundation of this Yao clan was indeed extraordinary. This is the Yao clan's guardian formation. It has never been activated. Unexpectedly, this time around, Yao Lao's expression was complicated as he looked at the light formation and said, "It is rumored that this formation was created by the Yao clan's founding ancestor. A trace of his soul fragment had been left behind. If it is activated, it might be able to block the Han clan." Founding ancestor, the corner of Xiao Yan's eyes twitched. The only one who could be called the Yao clan's founding ancestor was likely the elite Do Di, who had founded the Yao clan. Ha ha, is this the Yao clan's guardian formation? Its strength is indeed much stronger than the Ling and Shi clan. Han Huzi looked at the somewhat frightening energy surging within the large formation below. He turned around in front of the many pairs of eyes, and bowed towards the monstrous black flame. He respectfully said, "Nihility, sir, you might perhaps have to intervene in order to break this formation." After Han Huzi's respectful voice sounded, it was possible to see that the black flame behind him had actually begun to wiggle slowly. The black climbed and slowly agglomerated into a human figure. Finally, it appeared in front of the countless pairs of eyes. Black flame covered that figure while many strange black symbols covered his body. His eyes appeared, just like black holes, and were filled with a terrifying devouring power. He stepped on the black flame and stood in the sky. Due to him being covered by the black flame, his appearance was somewhat vague. However, waves of extremely ancient and strange aura slowly appeared in this place when it appeared. Woo-woo. The nihility, devouring flame all over the place emitted some strange whine after the black flame person appeared. It was as though they were respectfully welcoming their owner. Nihility, devouring flame. Xiao Yan's eyes stared intently at seemingly demon-like figure. His heart suddenly pounded intensely. Given his understanding of the heavenly flame, he was naturally able to immediately identify that this figure was the actual body of the nihility, devouring flame. The true nihility, devouring flame. This nihility, devouring flame, has actually also formed a heavenly flame spirit. Yao Lao looked at Xiao Yan. His mouth was dry. This nihility, devouring flame, and the purifying demonic lotus flame in the demonic flame realm were similar existences. It was even a little stronger than the purifying demonic lotus flame. What a terrifying aura, this fellow is stronger than even Yao Dan. Xiao Yang licked his mouth. A great storm surged within his heart. This was the first time that he had ever met such a powerful heavenly flame. It was likely that this fellow had existed for an even longer time than the purifying demonic lotus flame. The demonic god-like powerful figure slowly lowered his head in front of the countless pairs of shocked eyes. He looked at the large formation with a vast and mighty strength below. Monstrous black flame churned intensely above his head. Finally, it turned into densely packed black fire rain that descended towards the large formation from all directions. White smoke began to erupt from the formation as the black fire rain fell. Everyone could sense that the energy within the formation was being devoured by the fire rain. Yao clan, you will still be able to survive if you surrender. We still have some use for your Yao clan. Black fire rain came pouring down from the sky. The lush green mountain range immediately turned yellow. It appeared as though all life had been devoured. At the same time, a hoarse voice, which caused even one's soul to tremble, was slowly emitted from that demon-like figure. It will not be so easy to swallow my Yao clan. Yao Dan's face revealed a ferocity at this moment. He let out a stern cry and countless of light pillars gushed out from the medicine mountain and directly charged into the formation. From the corner of Xiao Yang's eyes, he could clearly see that there was actually various different medicinal pills packed densely together within the light pillar. The frightening numbers caused him to inhale breath of cold air. It seemed that the Yao clan had completely used all of their collection. With the surging of a sea of medicinal pills into the formation, a decisive expression also surged onto Yao Dan's face. Tens of thousands of pills forming the sky. In the name of the pills, founding ancestor return. Bang bang bang. Countless medicinal pills rushed into the large formation from all directions. They were quickly turned into powerful energy. At the end, one could see that the energy within the large formation seemed to have turned into a liquid sea. Lightning-like loud sound was being emitted as it flowed. Founding ancestor return. Yao Dan's hands formed many seals. His expression was ferocious as he suddenly cried out sternly. Crash! After the stern cry sounded, a swell quickly appeared at the middle of the formation. An endless amount of liquid energy continued to surge into it. At the same time, an extremely ancient aura also slowly spread from within the swirl. The swirl rotated rapidly before quietly disappearing. At this moment, a linen-clothed illusory elderly figure appeared. Buzz. All the members of the Yao clan suddenly felt their souls trembling violently the moment the illusory old man appeared. A kind of pressure that originated from their bloodline immediately caused the countless figures present on this mountain to kneel down. Founding ancestor. The many Yao clan's elders were so greatly affected that tears flowed from their eyes. Their faces appeared a little crazy because of the excitement. Under the stimulation of their bloodline, the figure was just like a god, which they could not offend in their hearts. Is this the Yao clan's founding ancestor soul fragment? Xiao Yan's expression was solemn as he looked at the figure. Even with his perfect heavenly state soul, he felt some difficulty breathing under the figure. This was merely a soul fragment that had remained for a seemingly endless amount of time. It was difficult to imagine just what kind of level a true elite Dodi would possess. Yao Lao's body trembled slightly. Ash stood beside Xiao Yan. He looked at the illusory figure at the middle of the large formation, with eyes that were filled with fear and respect. Han Hu's eyes also became grave as he stood in the sky. The pressure that the illusory figure gave him was incomparably strong. This Yao clan was indeed not as easy to deal with as the Ling and Shi clan. Regardless of how it struggled, however, it would also have difficult escaping from the same fate. Yao Di. Those black hole-like eyes of the black flame human figure beside Han Huzi also stared at this illusory figure. A moment later, he emitted a soft sigh with some unknown feelings. Unfortunately, the ultimate expert from back then is currently just a soul fragment. Founding ancestor, please bless our Yao clan. Yao Dan knelt down in the sky and let out a low respectful cry. Yao clan. The old man in rough linen clothes within the formation let out a low mutter. The long flow of time had left his little remaining memories to become increasingly blurry. However, it was fortunate that he still had a memory of the clan he had founded. Those extremely ancient eyes slowly swept over the area below. Finally, a mutter was emitted. It has actually declined until such an extent. An ashamed expression immediately rose onto Yao Dan's face after hearing the low mutter of the illusory old man. Although the current era was different from the ancient era, he did not voice any excuses. This is nihility, devouring flame. The illusory old man did not speak to any of the members of the Yao clan. He slowly lifted his head and looked at the black flame, which covered the sky. A lost expression once again flashed across both of his eyes. He waved his sleeve and a light appeared on the formation. Those black flames, which were adhered onto it while devouring energy, were being forcefully scattered by him. Without a complete memory and without a complete soul. Your muddy state is just like that of a puppet. The Yao Di has actually also turned into such a state. It's just as well. By capturing this remnant soul of yours, it would at least surpass that of 1,000,000 complete souls. The nihility, devouring flame smiled faintly in the sky. His tone did not contain the least bit of fear and respect. His hand was extended and his finger, which was covered with black symbols, pointed below. Bang! The entire place immediately crumbled as the nihility, devouring flame pointed his finger forward. A huge black flame finger that seemed to cover half of the mountain range descended from the black flame, which spread over the sky. It ruthlessly pressed towards the formation. This entire space seemed to have completely cracked under the finger. The expressions of many turned ashen upon seeing this terrifying might. The black finger descended from the sky. However, it was just about to land on the large formation when the linen-clothed old man finally lifted his hand. A medicinal cauldron that did not lose to the huge finger in size appeared above the formation. The medicinal cauldron was covered with various mysterious lines. At a glance, it appeared as though it was real. An ancient aura spread from it. Hum. The huge finger heavily pressed onto the large cauldron. Immediately, a humming sound resounded across the sky. Grug. Some of the weaker individuals immediately spat out a mouthful of fresh blood under the frightening humming sound. Some of their eardrums were even blasted apart. Blood continued to flow out from their ears, giving them an extremely miserable appearance. The large finger scattered as the two collided. That medicinal cauldron had also become a lot more illusionary. The old man's figure had also paled slightly. Clearly, he had exhausted a great amount of energy. Just how many times a mere soul fragment can block me? The nihility, devouring flame laughed faintly after his attack failed. His finger continued to press on the empty air. Immediately, the entire area shook. A couple of huge fingers descended from the sky and continuously struck violently onto the huge cauldron. Hum hum hum. A couple of crack lines were actually formed on the huge cauldron as this earth-shaking sound appeared. Everyone from the Yao clan, pour all of your Do Chi into the formation. Yao Dan's expression had changed drastically after seeing that the nihility, devouring flame, was actually unafraid of the founding ancestor soul fragment. He let out a stern cry. Immediately, the Do Chi within his body turned into a bright light pillar that shot into the formation. Countless light pillars also erupted from the other places. Immediately, the huge cauldron once again became real-like. Moreover, it had actually directly flew out of the formation and whistled towards the nihility, devouring flame in the sky this time around. Hun Hu's expression changed after he saw the huge cauldron rushing over. His body hurriedly hid behind the nihility, devouring flame. You have the strength of the Yao clan, so do I. The tone of the nihility, devouring flame, was still calm. With a wave of his sleeve, the entire Yao realm immediately began to tremble. Everyone was shocked to see that there were dense black flame clusters rising from outside this formation. Finally, they entered the black flame in the sky. Immediately, countless of miserable cries resounded over this place. It's the descendant citizens of the Yao clan. Xiao Yan's expression changed drastically. Those densely packed light clusters encompassed countless of wildly struggling human figures. These people were all the descendant citizens of the Yao clan. The moment they were being sucked into the black flame clouds, Xiao Yan could see that their bodies were turned into blood, which were completely devoured. What ruthless method! He didn't even let those descendant citizens off. Xiao Yan clenched his fist tightly. There were at least millions of descendant citizens in this Yao realm. Yet, all of them were devoured by the nihility, devouring flame. Hun clan, Yoru Hun clan, will be an irreconcilable enemy of my Yao clan. The shocking change outside of the formation was also detected by Yao Dan. His eyes cracked slightly as his vicious and mad roar resounded over the entire place. The nihility, devouring flame, completely ignored Yao Dan's roar. He clenched his hand and a blood ball was formed. Immediately, it swelled at a terrifying speed. The members of the Yao clan could clearly sense a familiar scent from within the blood ball. Explode. The nihility, devouring flame, waved his hand after the blood ball swelled to 10,000 feet. Finally, it heavily collided with the huge cauldron flying over. A blood light covered the entire sky at that moment. Everyone seemed to have turned deaf at that moment. However, the blood-red color, which filled their eyes, allowed them to understand that this extermination-like clash was not an illusion. Bang! An indescribable frightening energy attack swept wildly from the sky. Many crack lines were formed from the explosion upon contact. Finally, it completely disappeared under the wild devourment of the black flame. The remaining annihilation force swept down and ruthlessly smashed onto the formation. Boom! The formation trembled violently as this force swept down. A liquid-like energy filled it as it scattered at a shocking speed. The formation is about to break. Looking at the increasingly pale large formation, the hearts of everyone from the Jiyu clan quickly became icy cold. They did not expect that this formation, that was formed from the strength of their entire clan, was actually unable to block this terrifying existence. The rough linen-clothed illusory old man, at the middle of the formation, also softly sighed as he watched this scene. His mutter drifted into everyone's ears. This calamity cannot be avoided. His figure suddenly rushed out of the formation after his voice sounded. It turned into an illusory ray of light that cut through the black flame cloud with a speed exceeding the speed of light. Finally, it shot into the body of the nihility, devouring flame. Bang! The collision between the two merely emitted a somewhat soft muffled sound. However, the body of the nihility devouring flame trembled intensely. Soon after, his tone finally revealed a little fury for the first time. "You, damn old ghost, disappear from this world." Black flame surged out from within his body in all directions. Immediately, a slight sound was emitted. It was as though a soul was shattered. The sound was soft, but the bodies of all the members of the Yao clan stiffened at this moment. They could sense that there was something which was quietly vanishing from their bloodline. Founding ancestor. Yao Dan's scarlet eyes dully looked at the sky. It was as though his belief had crumbled at this moment. Crack! The formation began to tremble even more intensely in front of the stunned expression of everyone from the Yao clan. Finally, it emitted a crack sound and exploded in front of many shocked eyes. The formation has been broken. This video will end here.